All right, so good evening once again. I think the last class was our second meeting, right?
Third.
So the last class we had was the second time, was the second meeting,
It was
right?
the third.
This is the third
It was
one.
the third.
Okay,
Yes.
so just to be specific, I know we talked about tags, right?
Yes.
Talk about HTML tags as building blocks which are used in creating web pages contents. And then we are able to learn how to create content with three different tags. The heading tag, which created the about delicious food, the P tag, which created the explanation of the food, and then the IMG, which is the image tag, which created the two images. So let us view the front end just to know exactly what we have achieved so far.
Okay.
Let me wait to see the
Uh,
front end.
So I want to get a pen.
All right, go ahead. Once you are back, let me.
Oh,
Okay, so like I was saying, you can see this is the front end of what we have developed so far with three different tags, such as the heading tag, which created the about delicious food, and then the P tag, which created this explanation about the food, and then the IMG tag, which created these two images. And then we have also started introducing, I think we started introducing the CSS, right? Because I can see that we started introducing CSS
yes,
as
sir.
language for styling the content created by the HTML. So if you can see, originally when we created about delicious food, it wasn't styled with red color. And then the same thing, these pictures were not styled with this size. And I told us that in the next class, we are still going to perfect the presentation of this content. So we're not done with the styling yet because this will not give us a good user interface. So I'm going to just continue with the styling of these three contents. So once I am done with them, then we will also style the body tag. So that is what we are targeting to accomplish in this section. And if there is still time, we can introduce another set of tag, or tomorrow we introduce another set of tag. But let's just quickly perfect the styling of these three items. Now, remember that I talked about three different ways we can uh, add CSS to styling our content. I mentioned the inline, then I mentioned the internal, and then finally I mentioned external, right? Are you still here? I just want to confirm all this again. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. But I didn't write that down. Yes, sir.
Okay, so
Yes, sir. But I didn't write that down. I want to write it down. It's only the inline I wrote down. Okay.
you did not write the,
It's only the inline and the external I wrote down.
okay, you did not write the external, right?
Yeah, sir, you cracked. What did you say?
You did not write the external, but you wrote for
Yes.
internal
I
and inline, right?
no, I didn't write. I didn't write for internal.
Okay, but you wrote for external.
Yes, and
Okay, okay,
inline.
okay. So, you know, for For inline, I did say that it is when both your HTML code and the CSS code are in the same file but different section. That was what led to coming to the head section and then opening a tag called style, if you could remember, and then opening it up. So we wrote all
So
our,
you're cracking, oh, you're cracking.
I'm cracking. Okay. Can you hear me now?
So you're cracking. Yes.
Defining, I was defining the internal. You said you forgot to write. I said the internal is when you are writing both HTML and the CSS file in the same file, but different section of the page. And that was when we added a tag called style in the head section, just like you can see now. And then we wrote all our CSS here. That was the internal. Is it clear now?
You said that this is when the HTML code and the CSS codes are in the same file but
In the
different
same
what?
file, but different section. That is the
Sections,
simple
okay.
way of differentiating the internal from the inline. You know, in the case of inline, we wrote the CSS directly in the tag, right? Line.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yes.
and I said the best practice is the external, right? For debugging purpose. Do you still remember that statement?
Yes.
Okay, now let's continue. So if you look at the front end, if you look at the front end, you will notice that we still have a couple of things to put in order for us to have a more user-friendly web page. This about delicious food, I want to move it to the center. So in other words, right now I am continuing with CSS property. CSS property. Remember that I told us the property that changed the color from black to red was color. And the property that changed the image size was width. And then the one that changed this color is still color. The one that makes the first letter of each of these three words to be capital while the rest are still small letter was capitalized, right?
Okay.
So let's take note of this
Yes.
property. And I advise us that anytime you want changes while developing your website, it calls for CSS property because CSS is the one that's in charge of styling, determining how those content are to be presented to the users. So now that I want to move it from here to the middle, that calls for another CSS property, which is called text align. So text align, so we are still on the CSS property. Now remember I talked about HTML selector while you are in CSS. How do you reference uh, the elements you want to change or transform its appearance right from your external CSS? It is when you call the selector. Remember I spoke about the selector. So this H1 indicates that you are talking to which of the elements in this file. What does this H1 indicate? I want to know if you still remember.
Huh?
What does this H1 represent in this your CSS code?
It's for the heading. That's the heading this thing. The name
Yes,
of the where
I
you
know.
put the head.
What is the communication? What is the communication? What are you actually expressing by saying H1 before you declare that declaration block?
The HTML, the write-off of the HTML.
Good.
You're
Now,
trying to link them.
okay, so you are trying to say that you are picking an element in HTML file whose tag name is what? H1, right?
H1.
And yes, and the
Yes.
communication is that you are currently talking to this element, not this. And I define this. I told you that this is called HTML selector. This is called HTML selector. This is also called HTML selector. Now, I'm going somewhere. I just want us to understand because I am going to introduce another type of selectors. So I want us to quickly write in our notes. Okay, so write different types of CSS HTML selector. Different types of CSS HTML selectors. Have you written that? Different
Yes,
types
sir.
of CSS HTML selectors. If you have written that, let me know so that I can define them, can list them, and then we'll take the one after the other. Have you done that?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
so you write, right, there are different ways. Let's say there are three different ways. For now, we are working with three. We have five, we have four actually, but I don't want to talk about that until we get there. I just want to focus on the basic one. There are three ways. There are three basic ways. I think, let me put it that way, on how HTML element can be referenced. There are three different ways on how HTML element can be referenced, while, or just say can be referenced in CSS. Can be referenced in CSS. Have you written that? Can be referenced in CSS. Can I proceed? Are you with me? Since you can't hear me. Since if you can hear me, let me know. So what are the three different ways? One, selecting HTML tag by its name. That's number one method. Selecting HTML tag by its name. Just to explain, this is when using the exact name of the tag to select it in CSS. This is when using the exact name of the tag to select it in CSS. For example, all the selection we made last time, H1, P, IMG, falls under selecting the elements by their tag names. Because the H1 you have here is the same thing with the name of the tag. The P tag you selected here is the same thing with the name of the tag. Likewise, the IMG. So this type of element referencing in CSS is called using the tag name. So let's take the next one, which is HTML ID or ID. Just write HTML class selector. HTML class selector. That's the second one, HTML class selector. So what do we mean by HTML class selector? So just to explain, you write, this is when HTML element is selected in CSS. This is when HTML element is selected in CSS by the assigned class name by user or by programmer like you, by assigned class name. Hope you are still hearing me. Are you still following? Hope you are still following. Are you still following? All right. Now, let's quickly practicalize that class name. Now, look at this. Let me take us to the front end again, just to identify the need for classing your elements while developing your web pages. Now, you use H1 to select this about us. Now, let's assume that in the course of the development, you now use another H1 in the same file, the same page. So you now put like welcome to my training. So if I go back to the front end, you will notice that I have added that text, but it automatically took the appearance of the H1 here. Have you noticed that?
So I don't understand. You brought H1 back?
Yes, I'm trying to show you the implication, the challenge you could
So
be facing.
here you go.
Then, hello?
So you're cracking. I'm not really understand. You're cracking.
Oh, that's why I was asking the other time if you can hear me. Let me switch to another network to see.
Oh, yeah, you're so nice. Start cracking.
How is it now? Can you hear me now? How about this? Is it better? Okay. Now, look at what I did here. If you can hear me, look at what I did here. I'm trying to show you the implication of styling elements by their names, which we did last time. The implication, because now you have already selected H1, which means that anytime you create another tag H1 within this file with different content, it will automatically possess or inherit the styles you must have assigned to the first one. Did you understand it now?
Yes.
Now, this is a challenge. Meanwhile, I want this to have different styling, not to take this appearance. So how do we solve things like this? Because this is just like you are
What?
using, okay?
So
Yeah.
the H1 again you created. How did you put it? Did you just type in H1?
Yes, this is what I did. Just like the way we created the other, I just type H and then brought out the list of heading tags. Then I pick H1. Then I wrote
Okay.
welcome to my training. Did you understand it now?
Yes, sir.
And then by the time I switch to the front end, look at this. It has already taken the form of what? The initial H1. So what I'm trying to do is that I'm trying to tell you that it is not professional for you to style, to use name to select your HTML, because peradventure you use that same tag, it will be copying the previous style. And that is what we have experienced now. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Now, let's just watch how I'm going to solve it. So when you have this kind of challenge, you introduce classing method, classing element. Now, you know, class means that you are separating them. You are giving a unique identity to different tags that are in the same level. That is why we use the word class. So what I'm going to do now, for this one to have its own separate appearance, for this one to be seen as different element from this, despite that they were created by the same tag, which is H1, I am going to go to my HTML element. Inside the opening section, I will space, I will type class. Then I will give it name. I can say this one is heading 2. So which means that if I go to the front end, it will still be having that particular appearance, because the class you gave, you have not assigned its own CSS property. Are you getting it?
Yes, sir.
Good. Now, note it down. Note it down. when selecting class element, use dots before the name. Just note it down. When selecting class element in CSS, write a period, which is full stop or dot before the name. Now, this is what I'm going to do now, just to qualify that statement. This element is what I want to select in my CSS, but unfortunately, I have manufactured an identity which was not there before with the help of this class as an attribute. Remember, we talked about attribute. That attributes provide additional information about the HTML element. An attribute come in pairs. That is, we have the name side, which is the class. Then we have the value side, which is what comes after the assignment or the equals to. Now, I want to speak to this element in my CSS with this name heading 2 instead of speaking to it with the H1. So I'll go back to my CSS. So I will now come here using the comment. Remember, I still believe you remember how to create comment, control and /, and then I'll simply specify, because like I told us, programming with comment is very important because it helps you to know what you are doing per time. Now, what I'm doing here is what? Styling the H1, tag with the class name heading 2. Are you following? With the class name what? Heading 2. Hope you are still here. Okay.
Yes, sir. The
Yes.
period you're talking about, where's the period? You said that we should use period before the
Yes,
name.
just hold on. You will see it now. I'm just trying to express what I want to do so that in case you are writing your note, when you are going through the video later, to be clear to you what I did at this point. That is what I'm trying to denote with the comment. Now, since I am selecting, I want to reference this H1 so that it will know that it's not this one that I'm calling, because this one does not have class heading 2. This one just have the tag name. So how do I talk to this one? Not with the name H1, but with this class name. So from my CSS here, I'll come here and start with dot. This is the period I'm talking about. Then before I type the name of the class, which is what? Heading, right? Heading what? 2, before I declare my CSS. Did you understand it now? Hello?
Sir,
Is it clear? If it's not clear, let me explain it again.
it's not clear, sir.
Okay, now just pay attention. You get it now. Once you get it now, it won't be an issue. Now, you know, when we wanted to style the H1, right? We just called H1, which means we are talking to this one, right? Good. Now, it means that you selected this item with the name of the tag H1, not with a class. Are you following?
Yes, sir.
Now, the reason why I don't want to call H1 to style this welcome to my training, I don't want it to have the same appearance that I have given here. Do you understand that first? So I want it to have different style from this. So that is why I introduced this class and I gave it a class name called heading 2. Now in my CSS, I want to talk to this element, not with this H1 as a tag name, but with the class I gave. And I said, because I am selecting this element with a class name heading 2 in CSS, I should not just type it like this. It won't work. You must start it with what? Dot. So once you see me starting with dot before the name of the class, it means that that element is a class element. I'm not selecting it with the name of the tag. So for example, if I assign color now, If I assign color, I say what? Green. So let's go to the front end. I believe, can you see what happened now? The
Yes.
color I assigned only affected that one, but it did not affect this one anymore, because this one was selected in CSS with the tag name H1. But this one, if I had used H1 and say color green, it will not work because they are clashing. So that is why I differentiated this one by adding the class. Just to differentiate the style of this one from any other place where I'm going to use H1. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Good. So now the idea is that in a single web page that you are developing, and you intend to use two or more, you intend to use the same tag as a building block to build different content. How do you differentiate the style of those content from each other when you are styling in CSS? That is when you introduce this concept of classing it. So just adding this classing, it means that you have automatically differentiated it from this one. So because if I call it with this H1 now, it will give me the same appearance this one has already taken. I believe it's clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm still going to be using some of these things. So even if it's not that too clear in one, you get it now. Now, I have this p tag. I want to repeat the same thing so that you can understand it. Okay, so that we not have too many tags in order to avoid confusion. Let me still use what we have created. Look at these two pictures. You know, we give them the same size the other time, right?
Mm.
Now, if I want only this one, if I want to talk to only this one without affecting this, what will I do?
You change the width.
I will class
Or you
this one.
give it a class.
Good. Now you are getting it. Because if you look at the CSS here, let's go back to the CSS. You see that you just call IMG. That means you selected the image with
The
what?
whole thing.
The name. So anytime I add any image in this page, the image will automatically take what? The size of these two images, right?
Yes.
Because I referenced the image with the tag name instead of classing. So what I'm going to do, I will come in here after the last attribute. There are two attributes that came with the image tag, the source, which I explained the role, right? And the auth.
Mm.
Now, if you want to add another attribute, which did not come with it by default, you go to where the last one stopped. Like here, you space. Then you now type class. So I will name this one IMG1. Then I will now come here and name this one IMG what? 2. So with this, sorry, I have to put what? Class first. So
By this place.
good. You are following. Now you know why it's not working. Class, then I'll say what? IMG what? 2. Now, what I've done now is that I will now go to my CSS page. And if I say, before I call this IMG1, what must I type first in my CSS?
Dot.
Good. Now, that dot means you are talking to an element with class name, not by tag name, right?
Mm.
So I come back to my CSS here. Quickly, I use comment to explain what I'm doing. What I'm doing now, styling only. Styling only the image tag, IMG tag, with the tag, name. Sorry, with the class name, IMG1. What exactly do I want here? I want this image. My plan is to convert this image to a circular image. It should be a round image, like a cycle, while this one will remain square. Or, yes, that is what I want. So depending on which one will give me the best user interface, either this one will become round or this one. But I would like this one to become round so that all this background will be, eliminated, because this one does not have background. I'm just seeing the actual image. So if I convert it to round now, it will cut off the whole of this somehow, and then give me just the most important aspect of that image. So now, for me to talk to only this one now, that is IMG1. That is IMG1. So in my CSS, I will now come here, like I said. Now I want to select it. I'll start with dots. I'll say IMG1. So once I'm done with this set now, I will allow you to do the same thing so that it will not be too much on you. So IMG1, what do I want? I want to maintain the width that I've given to both of them. So I don't want to talk about width. I just want to change it to a cycle. Now, the CSS property for changing or for making an object, round object or cycle is called border radius. So I will just say border radius. Border radius. Then I will say the half of,
Sir,
yes,
sir, how am
yes.
I going to know? How am I going to know what they call all these things?
How are you going to know?
How they call all these things? Like, you know how you already know that, oh, this is called border radius. How am I supposed to know that this is called border radius?
That is why you enroll for the program now. As I'm using them and I'm telling you their function, after some time, they become part of you. It's just like English vocabularies. The more you learn, the more you read, the more you know, right?
Okay.
So why it look as if I am vomiting them freely, because I have trained a lot of people and I've been programming for not less than 12 to 13 years. You understand? So it has become
Mm.
part of me. But you that you are learning, that is why I'm taking time to explain what I'm doing per time with each of them. So that when you want to, the more you program, the more you get used to it. So just like I mentioned border radius now, and I said it is used to make an image or a container, rounded image or a cycle. You note it down. Are you following? You note it down
Yeah.
as a property that you have just learned now. Now, I was trying to explain the border radius property function. It is to curve. What I want to achieve, like I said, is to, I can curve only the edge here like this, but it's not going to give me a perfect cycle. So if that is the case, I can just choose any unit or any size. So if I say, for example, now 20 PS, PS is a unit that represents a pixel. Now, if I go to the front end, I want to check. What did you notice?
The edges are curved.
Good. Now, but what I want, if this is what you want, you leave it like this. But what I want is that I want it to be a perfect cycle. So for that reason, I would say my radius should be half 50% of the current width. The current width is what? 500,
Perfect.
right? So if I put 200 PS here, that should give me something that look like what? A cycle, but it's not perfect due to the height and the width. So what I'm going to do, I will say I don't want to use P cell. I'll just say, just convert, you do the division by yourself, 50%. I will add percentage. So if I come back to the front end now, you can see it now. It's perfect. All right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pause for a few minutes and then you should be able, there are two things you are going to do for me now. You start by, you add another heading H1, you class it, then you give a different color like this, and then you now come to this picture, then change it from square picture to what? Round picture. You can start now. Share your screen.
The page.
Okay.
So here, here I'll put, maybe I want to say um further
Okay.
information on the clothes.
Good.
But since they are both H1, this one is H1 and this other one is H1, I'll make a um
Let's go and see
class.
the front end. Let's see the front end. Let's see whether there is conflict
Oh,
first.
okay, okay.
So let's go to the front end just to see whether,
We have the same thing. the same fonts, the capitalization from the first one is the same with the second one.
So just that we
If
are
you
not
want
seeing
to,
it. I'm not seeing that interface. You can unshare and share so I can see. It's like each
you're
time you
not seeing
switch.
it.
No, I'm still on your coding environment. Just share, unshare and share again. I think it will connect.
Okay.
Okay, okay. So I'm there now. Okay, so you can see it now. Good. Yeah,
Yeah.
continue, continue.
Okay. Okay. It has the same thing. You can leave like that. If you want to change this, you can now change it. Maybe I want to change the second one for it to have another color or something. I'll go back and I'll create a class. I'll go to that place, and I'll type in class.
I'm not saying it again. It's like each time you
It
switch,
changes.
I'm not saying I notice you based on your communication, you have gone back to the coding page, have you?
Yes.
And but I'm still seeing the front end. So just
Okay.
continue. Just continue. If you can just do it sharp, sharp again. Maybe share and share and share again so that I can be on the same page with you.
Okay. So I should unshare now, sorry.
Yes, exactly. I want to be seeing what you are doing. Okay, so we are on the same. Continue.
So now see, I've already typed in class because I want to create the class now.
Mm.
I mean, I'll name it this because it's a different heading. So maybe I will say heading two to just show the difference.
Don't give space.
Heading,
Attach the two together.
eh?
Don't give
Okay.
space. Good.
What will happen if I give space?
No, it depends on you. If you are going to type it exactly, if you are going to type it CSI, remember that you space. Fine.
I will. Okay. But let me just say, okay, now I'll go to CS because I'm trying to change what is in the front page. I'll go back to the CSS page. I will type in enter because I'm creating this is a new this thing,
Okay.
a new one. So first of all, my comments,
Mhm.
just know my comments. I'll say styling the heading two tag, styling the H1
Mhm.
with class heading two.
Good.
Then I'll create my
No.
CSS. Sorry, I'll type in the head. Sorry, the class.
Mhm.
I'll type in the class and create my CSS bracket.
Good.
Now, maybe what I want to change is, let me say, I want to change the color. So I'll type in color and I'll choose the color I want. Let me say brown now. If I go back, I don't know if you see it now.
Go. If I not see it, you switch. Same thing.
Okay. If I go back, it has changed.
Okay. All right.
Can you see it?
No, I could not. But just go and do the one of image. Then you switch at once.
Okay. Okay. So I want to change the image too, because I've already changed this thing now. I also want to change the image. Maybe I want to give it a circular look. I'll still go back to my HTML page. I'll create another wait ahead. Yes, maybe I want to since I'm altering the image I've already brought in. I'll go and I will where the tag of the first one stopped. I will now space.
No, not there. Not there. You are not in here. You are not inside it first. After the double quotation, that's where you space.
Okay,
Okay.
yes.
Good. Yes. Yes.
I will now space. I will now type in maybe
Class.
okay, yes. Type in class. Then maybe I will name some IMG1.
Good.
Go to the second one just to differentiate it. IMG2.
Class first. Class first.
Okay.
You'll have removed the. Okay, good. Go ahead. Go ahead. That's good.
Same thing for the third one. IMG3.
Okay.
Now, since I've differentiated all of them, sorry. Since I've differentiated all of them, it has already refreshed in CSS. So I just have to go back. I don't have to go to CSS and then same. So let me remove some. I have to just go to the CSS, same styling, the IMG tag with class. Maybe it's the IMG2 I want to change to class IMG2. It depends. Then I will call in the class I put, the class I want to, that maybe IMG2, because that's what I'm changing. Then my CSS. What I want to change is I want to make it circular. So to make it circular, you put border radius. It has already come out here, so just type it in. Then, since I want to make it to have the same shape, I'll just type in 50% instead of changing the thing. 50%.
So let's check
I
it
go
now.
back to my.
You have to unshare and share now so that I can see it.
The background of my thing is white, so it's not really visible. But you can see that it's circular now.
Okay.
But let me
Just
let
unshare
me
this
also.
so that I can see it. It says see is believing. Oh, yeah, let me see it. Okay, okay. Now, what you would do, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
What you would do in this case, just to confirm that you have actually converted it from a square or a rectangular image to circular image, go back to your CSS and write border. Let's activate the border. Now,
CSS border.
no. Yeah, the next property, leave that line, go to the next line. So type border, not border radius, just border. Border,
Okay.
pick it up, then type 2ps just to specify the thickness. 2ps, x, space,
Yeah.
space to define the line type, solid, type solid. That is to give us a smooth line. Solid, solid, and then display it with a color, just space, type red, space and type red. No, you
Okay, I
don't.
should space.
Yes, just type red. Just type red. Or yeah, go back to the front end now. Do you see
Okay.
it now? So
Yes.
with this, at least you can see that it's a round object, it's a circular object. And so that is how it's just for you to show that yes, you have actually done it. So if it's not necessary, you can turn it off. So that is a good
Okay.
one. It shows that you are actually following. Okay, so you can unshare now so that we can proceed. All right. Just give me. All right. So you have actually demonstrated everything I did. So let me just continue. So now if you look at the front end, like I told you, our agenda is to get this page content look more user friendly. And for that reason, we are still considering some factor. there is need for us to take this header to the center of the page. So that is the next task I want to perform now before I come back to the image section and see how I can place these two images at the center of the page, because you can see that the space you have here, look at the space you have here, is too much, and this one is struggling with space. So we are going to resolve all this. We need to find a way of positioning these two pictures at the center of the page. Do you get that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now let's start with the header relocation to the center of the page, which is this. So remember that we already have where we are talking to it. I believe you are seeing I have switched to my coding page.
Yes.
Are you seeing it?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay, okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, we already have a place where we are speaking to it, so I will just go there. So the CSS property for aligning text to move text from the left-hand side to the middle to the right, it is called text align. Text align. So like I just defined now, what is the meaning of or the function of text align? Text align is to move text horizontally, either to the left or to the center or to the right-hand side. Now, the values you can give to it are left.
So, sir, you cannot move it vertically. Like, if you want to move the text up, like,
Yes, we will do that, but we will not come to the one for doing that. This text
okay,
align cannot move it vertically. It can only move it what? Horizontally.
horizontal.
Good. Now, I'll click on center. Now, if I switch back to the front page, what have you noticed? It has
That you
moved
have moved to the
to
center.
the center, right? Now,
Yes, sir.
I also discovered that there is now enough space here. There is enough space here. So why don't I stretch this character that we actually unveil another CSS property? So in case you want to create more space between the letters, which CSS property can do that? So I'll go back to my coding page. Now I'm still on that selector. So I will say letter spacing. So there is a CSS property called what? Letter spacing.
Letter space.
So what it does is to space the letter. Now I'll say, okay, space the letter with 10 PS. So if I go back to the front end, have you noticed any changes?
The letters of space.
Good. Now I ask you, because everything is about considering the user's experience. That is where we have the user interface and what? User experience. Now you need to be comparing when it was without the space and now, which one do you think is more user friendly?
Without the space. This one, you have the space between it is too much.
It's too much. Good. Now let's see if we can reduce the space and get something better. Let's say, what about this? It's better, right?
Yes.
Good.
Yes, sir.
Now that is for that. Now, like you asked, I want to shift this down. That is vertical now, right? That
Yes.
is vertical. I want to shift it down. Now, just pay attention to the breakdown I'm going to give us now. You see, every HTML element is recognized as box element. Why did we say it is a box element? Because they are always surrounded by 4 lines. The top line, the right line, the bottom, and this. That was why your image the other time, we activated border just to show users that this image is wrapped in a box. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
But if you don't call that border solid, the color, it will do as if it does not exist. So I want you to know that almost all HTML elements, when they are declared, they are in a box. Only that you don't see the box line or the border lines until you call border, then specify the type of line like we did for solid, and then define the red before you can come up like this. But I just want to prove to you again, because I know you have done it, that it's truly in a box. This about us is actually in a box. So if I come back to my coding page and I do something like this, just to show that the H1 or about that delicious food is actually within a confined space, which is the box. So I can just do like you did the other time, border, not border radius. I will say, okay, give me a line of thickness of 2 ps. I will space. Now I want dotted line. Your own case, you said you wanted what? Solid what? Line. Just for you to know that it's not only solid you can use. So I'll say, okay, give me what? Blue. Just to know. Or black. So if I go back now, can you see it?
Yes, sir.
Now, this is to tell you that the whole of this, even the P tag, all these, they are invisibly what? Inside a box. Now that you acknowledge that, now for you to push this down, to push it down, then you need to know that the space, there are outside space. This is what I want to illustrate. From the outside, there are spaces, and these spaces, they are called margin spaces. So we have 4 margins. The space from the outside, in other words, the space between the box enveloping about delicious food and the space between because if I activate that same border on this test, you will also notice that they are all in the box. So I am going to have something like this. That is, there will be space between the box enclosing this and the box enclosing this. So that space on the outside is called margin. Now, until you understand this concept, you will find it difficult to know the CSS property to actually push this down vertically. So now with that understanding, let me put in, it means that if I want to push this down, this is margin top. This is margin top, that is the space from the outside at the top. Then this is margin left, while this one is the margin right. And then here is the margin bottom. So I ask you, if I want to push this down, which of the margin will I communicate to?
Imagine top.
Good. That means I will push it from the top down, right?
Yeah.
Now, let's
Yes,
go
sir.
there now. Good. Now you understand the concept. Let me clear all this. So if I go back to my development environment and I do margin top, and I say push it down by 40 ps. Now, if you go back, you will notice. Did you notice movement?
Yes, sir.
Good. So that is how now, if I want to push it this side, remember that is what we are achieving with what? Alignment, right? Test align. So there's no point of wasting our time saying margin left, margin right. So because we are already achieving that with test align. So that is for that. Now, if I want the whole of this part, so I need to comment this off because I don't actually need it. I just use it to actualize that concept. So I will just comment it out. So let me go back to my front end. Good. So I would like it that is more friendly. Now, the next thing I want to do, like I said, if, for example, though it's okay like this, but just for you to know how to go about it, where it could be needed. If, for example, the whole of that section, the paragraph, that initial box that I just turned off now, I want it to have a different background color. So what I'm going to do, while I am still in that selector, I will say background color. So in other, I am now introducing another property, which is called what? Background color.
Background.
Good. Now, this background color, by definition, it is used to fill an enclosed or container with what? Background color. So let's say I want to give it black. So if I go back now, you will see that what? The whole of that paragraph where you have a background color. Now, like I told you, you need to always compare because you are considering the users. Now I ask you, without the background and with this black background, which one is better?
Without, because the background doesn't complement anything.
Good, exactly. So these are the questions you ask yourself to know whether you actually need it or not. So, but at least you have learned how to paint the background with color, right?
Yes, sir.
So let me comment it out. You know the reason why I am commenting them out instead of wiping them off, because there might be need for them as I continue. So in case there is need, I will just come back, highlight it, and press that control and slash. It will bring it back to live code. Okay, so I don't have to start typing it. So if I want to switch back to comment, I will just do control and the slash again. So that is why I am
Okay.
leaving them, because we are still developing. It might get to a point whereby after I have considered some color, that black might be needed. So that is why I'm not totally discarding them. Okay, so let's assume that we have settled the what? The H1. Now, what about this particular P tag? Are we okay with the way it's arranged? Is there any need for us to fine-tune it? I
Yeah.
think, is there any need for us to fine-tune it? Okay, it's okay like this,
No.
Abby?
Yes.
Okay, don't you think that it's too close to this edge? What do you think? I'm thinking we should
So
add
you
some
want
margin, right? Let me check how it is here.
okay.
You can see that it's also too close to the other edge. So let us add some margin. So I will come here. I say, okay, now, once if you call just margin without mentioning margin top, margin left, margin right, margin bottom, it means you are talking to the entire what? For margin. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
So if I put any value here now, like 20 PS, it means that margin top is what size?
So,
Eh?
so what did you what did you ask?
Now, you see that here I said margin top 40, right?
Okay.
But here I just did margin, and I'm asking you, what is the value for margin top?
40.
No, it's 20. What is the value for margin left? Is 20. What is the value for margin bottom? Is 20. Because if you do not call margin left, if you are not specific, if you just call margin, the program will assume that that 20 is for all the side. That is what? Give 20 up, give 20 left, give 20 right, also give 20 bottom. Is that clear?
Okay, sir.
So if I want to talk to only bottom, how do you think I will have written the code?
Margin bottom.
Good. That's the message I want to pass. Now, if you go back to the front end now, have you noticed any difference?
Yes.
What do you notice?
There's space with the back and before the text and after the text. Each
Good. Which
line.
is, which is better now? At least there is now a looking room. Somebody is not put in a tight corner, right? So nobody will
Yes.
struggle to see what is at the edge, because you are considering the users, not you now. And that is where the user experience comes in. So that's the question I'm asking myself that is actually bringing out all this, because I'm asking myself at some point, if I visit a website and things are arranged like this, will I be okay with it? So that is what is actually prompting this idea. So let's assume that we are done styling the header and what? The P tag, right?
Yes.
Good. So I'm going to pause soon once I finalize this. Now, the next thing is that now that this is placed at the center and the P tag is also at the center, let's look at the arrangement of these two images. Are they still valid?
Yes.
Don't you
Okay, you
think
want
that?
no to
Good.
centralize it.
So good, good. So now let's go and resolve that. Let's see how we can push these two images to the center. Now, I'm going to introduce another tag here, which we have not discussed. So probably maybe in tomorrow's section, we dwell more on it, because tomorrow I'm going to be working with more advanced tags. These ones are at the beginning, at the basic tag. But once you understand these ones, those ones are even easier to understand. That's why I'm taking my time to dissect this very one. Now, we are going to introduce a concept here. I told us that programming is about thinking different direction, thinking outside the box. That is why programmers are problem solver. Okay, now you can see the level of problem we have been solving since. Now you can see that I am thinking that since we want to move the two of them at the same time, all we need to do is to redefine our HTML structure such a way that these two can be in a container. Are you following? So
Yeah.
that these two can be in a container. If I put two of them in one container element and I push that container, both of them will move, right?
Yes.
Good. It's just like you have a basket, you put two things inside. Once you carry that basket and go to somewhere else, all those items in the basket have no choice than to follow you, right?
Yes, sir.
Good. Now let's go and implement that concept. So it will start from HTML structure. Look at these two images. They are independent. How do I know? They are standing on their own. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is that I will come here and create a div. So let me just use comment to explain it. Here, create a container element to place the two images. The two images. So how I'm going to do that, it is called div. Just type di and then you select it from here. So this is a container. So anytime you use div as a tag, which means division, is actually for sectioning. So I can wrap a whole lot of things inside it such that if I want to talk to those one from others, I can always use the container to what to communicate it. That is what I want to do. Then I will give it a class. Thank God that you understand the classing. Tomorrow class, I'm going to use ID. Remember I said there are three ways you select HTML element by tag name and class. So I don't want to distract you. Let me just focus on class. So all the CSS I'm going to do tomorrow, I will use what? ID, so that you understand how to use ID. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
So now I will use class. Class, I will say what? IMG. Now, remember that your class, you always describe the intention, the function. What do you intend to do with the elements or what you are doing? That should suggest the class name. So what I want to do with that div is what? Image underscore container. So once I see name like this, I know, oh, this is the element that is containing images. So now I will now come here and highlight these two images, then right click and select cut. They come inside that container and right click and select what? Paste. So I will try and format my code. I'll make sure that it's well structured. Okay, so what I've done now is that I have automatically positioned them in what? One container. If I go to the front end, nothing has happened actually because that div is a block element. Is a block element. Now, block elements are elements that irrespective of where they are added, they will always take the full width and also take a new line. Okay, I think I was explaining something like that. That was the reason why this picture now uh, came to the side of this one. Because if the image was to be the block element, it will not allow another element to take the space available or the space it could not consume. But the image, unfortunately, happened to be the inline element that allow other element to continue on the same line with them. One element that takes the whole line and push other element to start a new line, they are called what? Block element. So if you want to check now, so an all block element by default takes 100% width of your page. So just to confirm, let me go to the CSS file and do something like this. Styling, styling the div with the class name img underscore container. Now I'll say dots img as usual underscore container. Declare my block. So if I say border now, just for you to know that it's already taking 100%. If I say border, let's say 1ps solid, and then let me just say red. If you come back here, you can see that what that div that is covering those two images is already taking the full width. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
So no space. Now remember, our plan is to push this div so that this, once the div is pushed, the pictures inside it, the two of them will also be pushed and end up positioning them at the center of the page. Okay, now that is our target. Now, if you are already at the wall and somebody push you, will you move?
No.
But if you give some space from the wall and somebody push you, you move, right?
Yes, sir.
Good. So I will now go there and reduce the width because it's already showing that it's 100%. So there's no space. So it's already at the wall. So what I'm going to do is this. I'll come back here and say, okay, I know that by default you are taking the entire width, but me, I'm going to constrain you from using the whole of that space. So I will say your width should be 90 or should be 80%. Don't use the 100%. So if I come back now, check what happened. Can you see that it has created some space here?
Yes, sir.
Good. Now, if I push it from here, margin, if I say margin auto, that is how you can display a container element to the center. You cannot use test align center to push container because this div is a container. It's not test. It is only test you can push by saying test align center, test align left, test align right. Hope you are following.
Yes, sir.
So if it is a container you want to push, you use float, but unfortunately, float does not have center property. Let me try it now so that you see. So if I come here now and say float, float only have right and what? Left. You can't see center. So right now is at the left. So if I say right now, and I go back now, look at it. It has shifted what? To the right hand side. But I'm looking for a property that we float this object, these two images to the center. So float only has left and what? Right. So I can come here and say left. Then if I check the front end, you can see that it starts move it here. Okay. Now, if I want to move it to the center, I am going to use margin. I just temporarily commented it out in case I want to come back to it. So I will say margin. Since it is a block element, then I will use auto. So whenever you apply margin auto to a block element, that is to say the object should move to the center. Have you seen it?
Yes, sir.
Good. Now we don't need this line again. I only activated the line just to notice the movement. So I'll now go back to my code and then turn it off temporarily. In case I need it again, I could just call it back. Then I have it, properly placed. Perfect. So I want to give you 10 minutes to achieve this also. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you can start now. Share your screen as well.
Yeah. Okay. So let me see. I think the first thing you did,
That
let me
header,
talk about
yes, that header to go to the center.
let me see something. Yes. The first thing you did, you centralized the text. Since we're talking about the header, so you just don't still under the header.
Okay,
So I think it's text, sorry, text align
okay,
center.
okay.
is at the
Good.
center.
Good. All right.
This one,
Letter spacing.
okay. So, sir, this one also moved.
Yes, because you did not class it now. You have not spoken to that one.
Okay, until I fix it.
Yes, you can go there and return that one to the left. If you go to where you called it, heading 2, just say
And
align, just say test align again inside it and say left.
okay,
So I can go back to the left.
okay,
Test align,
alright.
you can say left. Okay, you say right. Okay.
I said left. I said
No,
left.
no, that's
See,
good. So it has gone back.
yes. Okay, so now I want to do letter spacing for it to be more user friendly. So I can say
5. Use 5. I think I use 5.
5. Okay, 5. Yes, 5 page. See, it's two spaced.
But I like it too.
The two spaced.
Okay.
Okay, okay. So then you are talking about margin, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
I think you're talking about margin. So I will also change the. There are other ways, margin top, margin bottom. But if you just press margin, then press auto. He moved it for it to be more user friendly for everybody. So can you see? Then let me see. Then I think next we now wanted to create like I think we wanted to move the images for it to also be centralized because of the way it looks.
Yeah.
The images.
Have you added the margin to the P tag? I shifted it.
Okay, also the P tag.
Yes, I added margin
Oh,
now. I move it a little.
okay. Okay, let me do that. So I'll also see. So I'm putting auto.
Auto
I don't
on
know if
what?
that's
Auto what?
the margin. The
No, no, no,
margin.
no. No, you
But
are saying margin left. No, this is not the case you need auto. It's when you are talking to the container that will be holding the two pictures. Okay, hey, good. No, yeah, you can use this PS, 40 PS, 40 PS, 40 PS. It's okay. That means to give 40 PS to all the sides. Since you did not say margin left, just continue.
so what of the H1? I should leave it as I should put
No,
auto rather.
The H1, we did margin top so that we can push it down. Margin top, so we can push it
Okay.
down. You are the one that asked for vertical movement. You get? So it's going to be
Yes.
margin top. Margin top. You need to clear it and tap it again. You need to clear it and type. There is hyphen in between the margin. Okay, just type it again so that you can see it from the library. Good. Margin top. So let's push it down by 40 PS. So let's go and observe it immediately. Okay, you can see that it has moved down, right? It has moved down.
Yes.
Okay, so
I think I want to make it 20 rather.
okay, if it's too
Okay.
much,
Mm.
okay, it's okay.
Mhm.
Now, based
Then
on
the
this your
other one.
content, listen, based on this your content now, I discovered that your P
Yeah.
tag, the length is not much. So it's better you put them at the center
Yes.
as well. It's not like my own that the length of the, okay. Have you adjusted that?
So you were saying something.
Yes, go back to your front end. I wanted you to observe something. Your front end. Are you there now? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, look at this. The demand is personal made brand. As you move the header to the center, it's as if you have two more space. So the whole thing is just like zigzag. So I would advise that since we also have the intention of moving the two picture to the center, also, except you still want to add to the write-up, where after the etc, do you intend to write more?
Okay, maybe I'll add more later.
Because if you don't add more, it's as if by your right there is an opening space, and the about clothed by demand is also creating left space. So it's as if you have too many opening, which is not professional. But just go ahead since you have intention of adding more. Just go ahead.
Okay.
Go to the image section now.
Okay. You said to go back to the HTML.
Yes, good.
Yeah. Yes. Then you said some you want to you said I should create like a container so that
Good.
it will move together.
Right.
Yeah. So all else moves here. So what I have here, it types in
Okay.
G.
Good.
Then it created G.
Press enter so that I can open it up. Good. To show
Yes.
that you want to wrap things inside. Okay. Now cut all the
That I've
images.
done. Then I'll. But
Okay.
you said class. You said
Yes, yes. Go
I have
ahead.
to.
Go ahead. Go ahead and give it class. Anyone. Go ahead.
Okay. Class. This is it. The image.
Underscore.
I can. Must I use image underscore container?
No, 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 no. You can choose your name. I just want you to use name that goes with what you are doing. You can choose your name, anything you want to use.
Okay. I use image underscore please.
Okay.
Then nothing has happened yet to this thing because
Good.
I've not yet linked it to the CSS thing. So now I think I don't know if you say cut.
No, yes. Highlight the three images and cut. No, no. Go
Okay,
and
the
highlight
three
the
of them.
three of them. Stay where you can get three of them. Maybe from the edge there. Okay. All right. All right. Now right click, cut. Now go
Then paste it.
inside. Enter inside the div. No, no, no. Enter inside the div you created.
Okay.
Now, oh yeah, right click
Yes.
again. Right click again. Paste. All right.
Yes. So now nothing has happened yet.
Exactly.
So something went wrong.
No, go back, go back, go back. You have not spoken to the container you class. So go to your CSS and say dot img underscore pleat. Then you now say width. You reduce the width. No, no, not here. It's a different selector. You can't put it here. It's a different selector. Now
Okay.
use a comment to explain. Styling the div with the class name. Use comment so that in case you come back here, we want to know what's good. Styling the div with the class name.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now add that border so that we can see how it's actually covering the entire way. Border 2 ps or 1 ps solid color.
I should add what?
Put border just to know whether the div is covering the entire width.
Okay.
Border, just border. Uh-huh.
Then one.
PS space solid. Oh,
solid.
no, remove your PS. You made mistake there.
Mhm.
Then specify the color just to view. Put any color, any color. Okay, so let's go there and check now, just to know if it requires changing the width. Good. You can see that it's covering it's taking 100% width, right?
Yes, sir.
So now go back
Sir,
and
see, sir, sir, something is wrong. This further information of the clothes, it went up.
yes, because of yes, don't worry, just once you move it now, it will go down. That was how my own was moving that time. Because we
Okay.
are moving the container. So it's the movement of the container that's affecting it. But let's get to where we are going
Okay, sir.
first. Now, reduce the width of that.
Okay. Okay. So I'll type in with.
Yes, good. Width, reduce it to 80% so that there can be space for us to shift it. 80%,
Okay.
80%.
So
Let's go back to the front end and check. Let's go back to the front end and check. Okay, so we have
it
space
has
now.
been reduced.
Good.
Yes.
Now you now do margin auto so that it can go to the center. Margin auto inside the container. Margin auto.
Margin auto. So there was
Yes.
something you said. Okay, you said it's not required all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Margin auto. Let's go and check again. So perfect.
Then it
Now,
said try now.
we don't need the lines again. Go and turn up the lines.
Okay. Since we don't need that again,
You
we'll
just
turn it
comment
into a
it.
comment.
Good. Perfect. Now let's go back there. Let's go and officially move that the one that is moving up. Let's move it
Yeah.
down. Let's move it down. So what we are going to do now, let me see what you did for the paragraph. Go back, go back. Let me see what you did for the paragraph. What you did for the paragraph. What did you do there? The paragraph, okay, just the margin. You say margin
Margin.
40.
I put 40. Yes.
Okay, now let's go back to your HTML. I'll tell you where the issue is. The problem is structural issue. Now look at the header. The H1 with the heading is not coming before the image. So cut it. Cut it. That time that we place the
Which one?
image in. So cut it from that place and
Okay, this one. Okay,
yes,
this one.
cut it and bring it under the div. Cut it,
Okay.
right click, cut.
That's put it
So
under the div.
yes, under the div. What is happening? It's like you did not cut to Control Z.
I'll do it
Okay,
again.
take it again.
Okay.
Only, no select. You can take it from the right hand side if you are find difficult to select from there. Okay. Oh yeah, right click, cut. Okay, now come outside. Good, paste. Now let's go back to the front end and check.
Okay.
Perfect. So it was a structural issue. But now, what happened?
Nothing.
That is one of the
Okay,
images.
one of the skirts. Okay.
Oh, you cut that time. You deleted
I
it.
think I cut, yes. I think I cut. I
Where
think
is
I
it?
cut it out.
Where is it?
I
Permit
think I cut it out here.
just
The
press Control
central
Z.
image.
Press Control Z. Control Z. Let everything return back. Then you take it again. Control Z. Control Z again. Okay. Control Z.
Yes.
Okay. Now I take it again so that you will not make mistake.
Okay.
So let's go back and check now and see.
Yes.
Perfect. Right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any question? You can unshare now. You can unshare.
No, sir.
You just unshare. Now, we have few minutes to close. So I will just take one more and then we'll end it here. We'll continue tomorrow. So, right, we want to start. What I want to start now is the body tag, though I will not complete it today. I will continue from there tomorrow. Now, body tag styling, right? Body tag styling. body tag styling. Hope you are still here.
Yes, sir.
Body tag styling. Now, this is the element I want to start. I want you to pay attention now. You know that when we activated the default HTML, it came with this, right? This body.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
good. Now, it looks as if we are focusing on the one we introduced, but we have forgotten that all of them that we introduced, they are in what? In
Body.
the body tag. So I want to show you the body tag is the one that controls the background. If, for example, you want to change the whole of this white background to another color, let's say that is what the client insists. Because by default, the background of your body tag is white. If for any reason I want to change it to another color, or I want to even use an image, so which I'm not going to do in this section, I will just show you how to use plain color as the background of your body, just like the way we have it as plain white color. So tomorrow I will show you other ways you can manipulate it. Now, if for example, I want to change this to black, that is the body tag. So this is the tag that is responsible for the background of the browser. Okay, so we can only have one body in HTML file. The whole of this file now, you cannot repeat the body. You cannot come here and say body. It's not allowed. We can only have one body. So which means that in a browser, there can only be what? One body, which is what? From here down to this place. So what I'm going to do, since it's just one body, there's no point of classing it because there is not going to be conflict. No other tag is not going to be repeated like H1, like P tag that introduces the classing concept. So I will just go to my CSS and then come here, and this is the last thing we are learning. I will just say styling the HTML, or let me just remove this, styling the document background color. Styling the document background color. So I will just say, since it's just one, I will just call it by tag name, then open this. So if I just say background color, which I have used before, and I say, let's say black. So if I go back to the front end now, what did you notice? The whole
The
of
background.
code. So this is where I want to stop. So by tomorrow, I'm going to show you if I want to blend two backgrounds together. Let's say I want this background, maybe the top from here to here should be black, and then from here downwards should be something lighter than black. Or I want to use a company faded image or their logo as watermark. So all of that, we will continue from there tomorrow. So that I will not forget, let me write in your note that tomorrow we'll continue from body HTML document. Just write HTML body tag styling. Just put the topic there like that. So that tomorrow
Okay.
I'll know where HTML body tag styling. Are you there?
Yes, sir.
HTML body tag styling with gradient color and images. So that we remember HTML body tag styling with gradient color and images. So any questions so far before we end it?
No, sir.
Good. So your assignment, what you are going to do for me now, your assignment, you are to start another project, not this one. No. Start by creating that website you are designing is about what?
Clothes.
About clothes, right? So start as
Yes.
if that is one client. Do as if you are creating for another client. Let's say you got a contact and the person says you build maybe a school website. So start afresh, create a folder, CSS folder, just like we did, and try to give me a page content. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Just to allow you to refresh everything to where we are. So apply the CSS as you could. Then tomorrow, same time, 5 p.m.
Okay, sir.
All right, take care. Good night.
Thank you.